What's up, guys? Movie buff. We're going to talk a little Gemini Man, Big Willie style. I've always loved Will Smith. He's been like one of my favorites for pretty much my entire life. I mean, even back in the Wild Wild West days, which, I mean, I was way young when that happened. But I mean, even then, the movie was, semi-terrible as seen now. But even then, I enjoyed seeing him on screen. I've always enjoyed seeing Will Smith do his thing on screen. He's just good. He just, especially when he's on, he's one of the best to ever do it, in my opinion. So I was pretty psyched to see this like rendition, and we're getting into this kind of crazy world of the uncanny valley. Younger actors de-aging. They're doing it all now with the Irishman and Martin Scorsese's doing it with De Niro and Pacino, and it's just crazy because it's like, this is going to change the game for movies once they kind of perfect this. Because like, even if an actor dies, well, you could still own the rights to that actor's face, body, property. It's changing the game. So this is one of the first renditions we're kind of seeing in that. And you can even see here, like, young Will Smith, kind of like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air days, versus like seasoned Will Smith, kind of like nowadays. The movie is basically about Will Smith's character. He's an assassin. He's one of the best in the world. He is the best in the world. But he's getting older, and he realizes that he's starting to lose his touch as far as perfection. And, the way he puts it, he's like, 6 inches off or 6 millimeters this way, and an innocent person could die if I miss that shot. And it's just not worth it. He's basically getting to that point where he sees so many ghosts when he looks in the mirror, because he's just, 72 kills. I mean, that changes somebody, that gets in you mentally after a while. So he's just getting to that point where he wants to retire. And, he finds out some stuff that he's not supposed to find out. Obviously, that's kind of how all these spy movies go. But basically, one of his old commanders, in his military unit, kind of a anyways kind of guy, decides to clone him, basically. They take his blood and basically make a better version of him. A younger version, just as skilled, just as determined. Everything that made Will Smith's character the best, they take from him and just, amplify, build on. And in this case, they raise this clone to be his son. So this clone thinks that, this military guy, this loony military guy, is his dad. Like, they have this father and son connection. It's a little strange, to be honest. But once he kind of figures out who he's hunting, they both kind of are like, what the fuck? Like, how is this? How is this happening? What is going on? Why is it happening? So there's a ton of action in this movie. And, a lot of it is in the theaters. As you can see, the motorcycle fight and stuff like that. But the way they shot this stuff was a lot like a first-person shooter. You're like behind the wheel of the motorcycle, and you're behind the gun. It's very immersive. We were going to do it in a 4DX movie, but it was like way too late. So we just decided to do an IMAX, which IMAX is always a special treat. I mean, you just can't get a bigger screen, and to me, that's the sheer size is just the experience. But it was just so awesome to me, the way they filmed this. Right here, they're fighting in these like catacombs, and they're like going, one for one, because you got to remember, it's him. It's his younger self. So he knows they both know eeach other's moves. So it's just counter, counter, counter. And then one gets lucky and then counter, counter. Well, this other girl basically is got like a gun on him, and she, you know, is trying not to shoot. She's more just like threatening and showing the light because the gun has a light on it. And you look behind, the camera pans from behind, and you see their kind of like silhouettes, you know, fighting, but it's from behind the shadows. And just there's a bunch of just excellent cinematography here that I just really enjoyed. So there's a ton of action. There's a couple of twists. I'm not going to spoil the movie or anything, but it was an entertaining movie. I wouldn't say it's like the best movie of the year, but I was thoroughly entertained and I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it had a cool premises. All, you know, these spy movies and these hitman movies, this kind of stuff has been done so much that it's hard to find something new to do in that genre. So I think they did the best they could with what they had. But Will Smith brought it, man. He was Big Willie style again. You've got, you know, just his style, just his flavor that only he can do. That it's just a signature Will Smith acting. And I really, like I said, I really enjoyed myself. I really liked it. I think you guys should check it out. It's probably, I mean, it's not looking to do great at the box office. It's probably going to lose some money. Paramount is just not producing a ton of high grossing movies right now, but I think it's good. I think it's definitely worth your ticket. I think it's definitely worth your money. If you haven't seen Joker, obviously see Joker before you see this. I mean, that's sitting at almost $500 million now, second weekend. So this is probably going to be number 2 at the box office. But if you're just looking for something that you haven't seen and a good time, it's kind of like mindless popcorn action. Kind of like if you think like 90s flick action, that's kind of like more towards the way this is geared. So if you like that kind of stuff, give this a try. Until next time, guys, see you at the movies.